Greetings, members one and all of the Salivation Nation. $5,121 silver. The debt clock has been taken over. Let's explore. What does that title mean? The debt clock has been taken over. We'll explore that here momentarily. But while you're here, if you want to be apprised of the latest video, be sure to hit the notification bell and also subscribe if you haven't done so already. That's right, silver is climbing in terms of this particular ratio, what we're looking at here, and that's $5,121 bills per ounce. That's right. This is not what the price of silver should be. This is not the price of silver would be or even could be. This is an actual ratio, the dollar to silver ratio on the debt clock. We're going to explore this number, and as we do in this series, the debt clock and silver. This is a series that I began back when this number was reading under $1,000. In fact, I believe the first video was $870 some odd dollars per ounce. And I thought it was a good just to have an idea, a sort of a time capsule of sorts, so that we can track this number, especially with a relatable metal compared to a relatable currency note. That's right. This dollar bill, if you hear me doing there, there's more of those out there today than there were before when I did this video, when it was well under $5,000. That's right. These numbers keep climbing. Just as you see these numbers climb as well. So we can see here that what this means is the year-over-year increase in the U.S. M2 money supply divided by the yearly world production of silver in ounces. So that means that they are producing so much silver per year, and they can only produce so much, whether it be primary silver mining, which is decreasing. We've already reached peak silver mining, at least for now, in that regard. But silver, as produced as a byproduct of other metals, is staying relatively stable. And but one thing that's outpacing that silver production is the amount of dollars that have been created in the M2 money supply. And that includes money in savings, and not just the hard cash that's out there, but it's also other assets that are created essentially by the Federal Reserve. And so the Federal Reserve does its thing. In fact, that's mainly what we concentrate on here, with the amount of dollars that are created per year based off of monetary policy. That's right. But in this particular video, $5,121 silver, the debt clock has been taken over. And it's been taken over by Congress and the president. That's right. Our governing bodies have taken over the debt clock with $1.9 trillion in spending. And that has bumped us up yet again. And we are really at the precipice of yet another policy being implemented, or not implemented, but introduced, and that is a over $3 trillion infrastructure spending package, which will take us even well further into debt. And at the rate we're going now, well, let's see. The rate we're going now, if we in 4 years, we will then be at a record high of $13,339 per ounce at the projections of where we're going. That is a lot of dollar bills, you all, compared to the amount of silver that's mined per year projected into 2025. But let's just take a look at reality and what's going on right now. Right now, we have a national debt that is comfortably above $28 trillion. Indeed, and that number is climbing dramatically. And with this new $1.9 trillion that has been now passed and is law, with all that money, once it's spent and created by congressional mandate that has taken over this debt clock, you are going to see that climb to $30 trillion. Indeed. And we will see the debt clock continue to ramp up, and it will ramp up strong and hard to well above this number. But we're tracking it here, and this is part of this series to see what's going on. Why is this happening? There's two factors, but the biggest jump here is the amount of this money being created by congressional mandate. Yes, indeed. So this will be something that we'll continue to watch, and we'll see it grow as we see all these other numbers grow as well, too. Debt and deficit spending are record paces now, for sure. You look at the dollar to gold ratio, and it is just out of this world. And again, I can't emphasize enough that does not mean that this what the price of silver would, could, or even should be. Because if it ever got to that point, well, we would be in such a big world of hurt that silver would be the last things on our mind if it ever got to that level. But it won't get to that level before they try to trick us again with smoke and mirrors and what is known as the Great Reset, which is a socio-economic reset of our currency, and it will probably revolve around some sort of blockchain technology or ledger system that will track every movement of every dollar out there and every currency out there. Likely, the IMF will have much more control of it, and each nation may have their own sovereign currencies, but it all could be tracked through the IMF. That's what I fear. Who knows if that really will happen? But that is one thing they probably are considering. Even if that's not the case and each government has their own blockchain, it's still scary to see that every purchase can be tracked. And with everything all digitized, that means it can be erased as well, which means they can take away your balance. They can take money out of your account very easily. It's already, in a sense, could happen if you pay your taxes, through direct deposit. They put the money in there through direct deposit. They can also take it out via direct deposit as well. There's a lot of digitization out there. And this is why, in the age of digitization, this is why this stuff becomes even more and more attractive to hold. And, likely many of us won't be buying bars of this size anytime soon, 100 kilos or what have you. But nonetheless, or 1,000 ounces, to be able to have bars or coins such as silver eagles in our possession means that we have essentially, in a way, declared our independence from these financial institutions that are ever so in the mode of tightening their grip on us in various different ways. And this is why it's incumbent upon us to take into account what we do with our money, and how we spend it, and how we can be tracked and are tracked, at least to some degree these days. And so I believe holding precious metals is a way to not only preserve your wealth, but as a way to free yourself and to be able to have something of value that you can exchange for goods and services if it were ever to get to a point where they are tracking everything to such a degree that you don't really feel comfortable making purchases, because they know how much bread you got, how much milk you buy on a weekly basis. Not that you're doing anything wrong. It's none of their business to know that information. And it's not just government, but other financial institutions. So I believe as things become more digitized and more automatic, so to speak, I believe that you will see more and more things like gold backs and Ethereum notes, and also notes made of silver, or coins, or old silver coins being used, such as constitutional silver, or silver dollars, or silver rounds, silver bars, and even gold for some larger purchases. That stuff may become more recognizable for these transactions between peers. And I'm not just talking about peers on the internet. I'm talking about your neighbors and friends. It is a way to truly in a sense, beat the system in that regard, because we should be free to be able to spend that which the Constitution has established as money for goods and services, and that is silver and gold, but especially silver for day-to-day transactions. And that's why I believe that silver, for what it is, and though it's not a extremely rare precious metal, it is definitely a metal that is rarer than many other entities out there, many other commodities out there, but especially the dollar bill, for sure. Now, what do we mean by silver not getting to this level, or that it should be this level, or what have you? What is the true value of silver? And I've kind of covered that in past videos, many of them dating back over 5 years ago, 6 years ago. And the true value of silver is its intrinsic value. You really can't put a dollar amount on value. And that's just it. Value is something that is measured above and beyond, I think, the dollar. Although it is one metric to value something, I believe silver and gold, at least to some degree, keep up with inflation in terms of price over the course of a long period of time. And sure, you can pick any moment of time where it is above inflation. And with silver, you'll find more times, especially within the last 6-7 years, where it's performed below the levels of inflation for a lot of that time. But over the course of a long period of time, it preserves your wealth. But it also provides that value to protect yourself as an insurance policy, as a savings account in times of trouble. But nonetheless, we are watching this debt clock being taken over at this moment with legislation rather than monetary policy. Now, monetary policy is still playing a part in it. Make no mistake about that, for sure. They're still printing, those printing presses are still cranking out those dollars. But even more so than that, they are just through the action of a few keystrokes, just digitizing it, just throwing it out there. But one thing, a comparison I think that is quite profound that we can make to what's happening here is an analogy that I think is apropos from the movie Justice League, where Cyborg, who is an entity created as a human being after a bad accident, Victor Stone is his name, and he becomes the cyborg that has alien technology built in him from the mother boxes that allows him to be able to be hack proof. He can hack into anything, and he himself and the operations and the intelligence that he has is hack proof. There is nothing that can stop him in the digital realms. Not only that, but he can also implement and change monetary policy at will. He can adjust the dollar. He can create money. And that's exactly what he has done in certain circumstances at free will. That's kind of how I see the Fed. And in a sense, Congress, although it does take a majority based off of our rules of republic representation out there. They are able to implement these policies based off of and legislation based off of these votes. By and large, it does seem like behind the scenes, especially, they can do what they want. And certainly, we as the United States, we have the hubris that our dollar is going to somehow last forever. But that hubris will certainly bring us to our knees in humility as time goes on, as this number becomes larger and the world and the citizens start to lose faith in this fiat. We'll see how it plays and how it goes. For now, we still have faith in fiat, but we have an ever-growing debt that a lot of people are not paying attention to. And I believe that the best way to protect ourselves is to question that faith to a degree and to have faith in something that has survived these fiat currencies for ages. That is gold and silver. Hope you found this video interesting. Let me know in the comment section below. Would like to extend a multitude of gratitude to you all for taking the time to watch, and encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.